Hi, pipe smokers. This is Paul the Pipe Guy, live from Rochester, New York, and it's time for Two for Tuesday. So grab your pipe and smoke with me your favorite blend, your favorite beverage that you love oh so much. Yeah. So for today, I actually have two different pipes with two different blends. The first one is my yes, the Crown of England, made in England. Kind of a apple-shaped pipe, and love this pipe. It has a great draw. Yeah, we have a storm that's rolling in, so I could hear some thunder and lightning in the background. So I turned the air purifier off, so hopefully you can hear it in the background. So in this, we have, yes, all right. We have spark plug. Yes, spark plug. And thank God I bought 4 tins of this because this one's almost gone. There we go. A little rumbling in the background. I want to read to you what the manufacturer has to say about spark plug, although I have done this before, but deep and dark, powerful yet refined, the smoky, leathery backdrop of Latakia or Latakia is layered with an almost incense-like spice of rich Orientals with fine Virginias added for depth and a subtle sweetness. So basically, that's what that's what is in it, and it is smoky. Now, I did have one of my subscribers, and I won't mention his name, but I'm very thankful. On one of my tobacco reviews, he actually posted on the tobacco review. So, it tastes smoky. You say it has a punch to it. You say it's strong. You say that it may not be an all-day smoke. You say that a few bowls could definitely give you tongue bite. What in the tobacco gave you those sensations? Oh, and you said it tastes good. You should buy it. What in the tobacco gave you those sensations? And at first I looked at it and I thought, okay, I got to think about this one for a minute. I think a lot of us presenters, or new presenters like myself, I've only been making videos for about a year and a half, might take offense to that. But I didn't. I actually looked in and I read it a few times, and he finished off with, please keep making your videos. They're interesting. Now, here's a seasoned, who I suspect is a seasoned pipe smoker. Okay, he wants to get a review like I'm a tobacconist, which I'm not. But I am working towards that. Okay, so I responded after reading this for a couple of days. I read it a few times. And I said, thank you very much for your kind words. I said, and thank you ever so much for your constructive criticism, because it's people like you that when you say these things, like you did, I didn't take offense to it. I took it as constructive criticism. And how can I be better? How can I do better tobacco reviews? And he was right. So I responded to him. I said, well, the rich Virginias, I could taste those and blah, blah, and described what was in the tobacco that I could taste that gave me those sensations. And I haven't heard back from him. I just reposted it. But any, constructive criticism, I'm always looking to do better. I want to do the best tobacco reviews that I can do. I want to do tobacco reviews that a tobacconist can look at and be like, this guy makes sense. What he's saying is totally on the level. So I kind of slouched off really after re-looking at that one. A lot of my other tobacco reviews, I think I've done a much better job with. I've really tried hard to look up the ingredients and see what they taste like. And when I first started doing tobacco reviews, I was horrible. I'd be like, oh, it burns nice. Oh, look at the beautiful white ash on top. Oh, it tastes good. You should buy this. Was when I first started doing tobacco reviews, and I think I've come some ways since then. But thank you very much, Mr. Unknown Subscriber, for the constructive criticism. I appreciate it. And I would appreciate anyone else who wants to help me try to do better at tobacco reviews. So thank you. So Sparkplug is in this beautiful Crown of England pipe, which has a nice draw on it. Don't know how old this pipe is. Just says Crown of England on it, no bowl number. Made in England. Okay. So let's light up our spark plug. I've always loved spark plug because of the Latakia/Latakia in it. It does give it a smoky taste, which I love. The only thing I love more than a smoky taste is if they have an additive like rum or bourbon or whiskey in it. That just makes it oh so good. Because they go together. And spark plug is true plug, and it is pressed extremely tight. And with the Latakia, which normally is pretty strong, very, very smoky, the Orientals and the Virginias really balance it off well. And that's why I have 4 tins of spark plug. I love it. One of my other subscribers he made a couple of comments. And when I went to reply to the comments, he was gone. One of the comments was, you don't pack your pipe enough. You should never be able to hear that whistling sound. Well, I pack my pipe so tight sometimes, and I've watched videos on how tight you should pack your pipe. You should pack it so it's comfortable for you, but you don't want to pack it so you just can't get any smoke through it or anything. The guy was saying that all I'm doing is breathing in hot air from my lighter. And I'm like, well, what's all that smoke and why is the tobacco burning? I'm thinking to myself. I didn't get a chance to respond to him, but I do pack my pipes sometimes too tight. And then it's like trying to suck up a frozen milkshake through a straw, and that's too tight. He made one other comment about my X105 pipe that that had the cracks, the vertical cracks in it that I did the video of, and he's like, same subscriber. Ah, yes. And he's like, that can't be an X105. I own an X105 bowl, and I looked it up, and there's nothing that looks like that. Well, that's because that was actually a special edition Dublin made by Peterson to meet a $69.99 price point, which they offered for a 2-month period of time. And I bought several of those pipes from that special. And that is why the X105 he's looking up looks nothing like what I have. It was a special edition X105 bowl number. So I don't know. He's gone. Who knows? I couldn't respond to him. But anyways, so I do appreciate all the responses. I really do. It's time to clear the palate with my first of 2 Busch beers. Oh, yeah. Yes. So I did what another subscriber of mine said, and he was a huge fan of Matches 860, who we all love and dearly miss. And he might be gone, but his videos still survive to this day with immense knowledge. And I was asking, how do I store my tobacco? Is it going to be safe in a tin like this forever? Or a tin like this? And so the guy took his time, the subscriber that I'm referring to, and he said, no. He says, you need to wrap them up. So I have my pouches wrapped up in high-quality Ziploc freezer baggies. Some of my tins, the tins that are open like this, like that, they're all in high-quality freezer-grade Ziploc baggies. And thank God I found out about that, because I have a lot of money invested in tobacco, and fortunately, none of it went bad on me. I mean, because like these tins right here, this is an empty tin. I actually jarred this one. So I took these Bengal slices in a 4-ounce jar. I wrote on there, okay, 7/19/21 Bengal slices, single barrel. All right, so it's in a 4-ounce jar with a nice seal on it, mason jar. I got some 8-ounce and some 10-ounce ones on the way for, my bigger tins like that have, 2 ounces in them, because they'll never fit in that jar. But, if you look closely, this almost does have like a mason jar type of seal on it. But nothing is as good as a mason jar. So this one I've owned for a couple of months. Before I jarred it, I always made sure the cap was on good. It stayed great. It stayed like brand new. But, which brings me to our second tobacco. Our second tobacco, I bought it in bulk in March of 2020. So almost a year and a half ago. And then it was in a baggie, and then my daughter had bought me mason jars. Actually, I take that back. I bought this aromatic cherry. It's Captain Black aromatic cherry. And Captain Black is one of the world's best-selling tobaccos. They have many different blends. But according to what the internet says and Pipes and Cigars says, it's the world's best-selling maker. And they do have a lot of good blends. But I actually bought this in bulk probably almost 2 years ago. And then what I did is I kept it in a Ziploc bag. And then for Christmas, my daughter bought me mason jars. And then I was like, oh, I'll put the tobacco in there. Watched a couple of videos on how to store tobacco. So this actually was jarred on 6 of 2020, so over a year ago, and it's still as fresh as the day I bought it, still as moist as the day I bought it. One subscriber was saying that he's seen blends that have been put into mason jars for over 40 years, and they're still like brand new. The mason jar just keeps them. So, with our next pipe, we have a beautiful K-Woody, which has a 3-hole stinger, which I believe puts it as an older one. I'd have to do some more research on this pipe, but it's the high bowl number H8. And you can't burn every blend in this because the bowl is almost like a funnel. And it doesn't burn as good as a bowl like this. So, it's kind of picky on which tobaccos it'll do, but this beautiful K-Woody loves cherry aromatic. Oh, and by the way, the whistling that the one subscriber, who I don't think is a subscriber anymore, that was telling me that my pipe wasn't packed tight enough, all right, I was drawn hard as a freight train on that. Now, I learned through pipe making, not that I make the pipes, but I've watched pipe making videos, that if the end of the stem on the inside does not have a bevel in it, you will get a whistling sound. I've watched guys make pipes. I've watched them make stems. And the guy's like, I'm going to put a special bevel where that goes into the pipe on the inside so it doesn't whistle. That's what makes the whistling sound. So I don't know what this guy was talking about, but I do appreciate the feedback, but I think he was incorrect because he's not here in my living room seeing how tightly I pack my pipes and how hard of a draw sometimes I get off of them. Sometimes I pack them too tight, and then I got to mix things around and repack them. So, with that said, we're going to light up our beautiful K-Woody H-Bowl, our beautiful high bowl number H8. Yeah. And it doesn't say, it just says K-Woody High Bowl. What does that say underneath it? I can't read this. I hate that when I can't read it. Anyways, I can't read the small print, but it says K-Woody Highball with something else under it. So we're going to light that up with the first blend I ever bought and smoked for a long time. Never thought I would ever own another blend is Captain Black Cherry Aromatic. Now, this has Cavendish and Black Cavendish in it. And it also has an extreme cherry flavor infused into it. The room note on this, in my opinion, is a 5. People just love this when they smell it. Yeah. And I have not smoked this in months and months. Nice break from those Burley and Latakia blends. It's sweet. And when you put your tobacco, and it ages in these mason jars, it just gets better. As long as you got a good seal and everything. Like I said, I've had to rehydrate tobacco, and the way to do that is you basically take some aluminum foil, make a little bowl out of it, about that big around, put 2 or 3 cotton balls in it, and use distilled water only, otherwise you'll end up with mold in your tobacco. Make sure that the cotton balls are wet, but there's not like excess water, just very, very wet, nothing settling. And gently drop it in there, and it will rehydrate your tobacco. And then once a week, reach in, take that out, shake your tobacco up. Don't never shake your tobacco up with that in there, otherwise you'll end up with a mess. You know, take the little tin foil, aluminum foil bowl out with water. If it needs more water in the cotton balls, rehydrate that. But shake this with that not in it. And what that'll do is that'll mix up your tobacco, because just with that sitting on top, you're only going to get a portion of the tobacco that's going to rehydrate. So you do that until you've achieved the moisture content that you want for whatever tobacco you're rehydrating. And like I said, I had some apple that did that. And I thought, it's ruined. And I looked up on YouTube on how to rehydrate it, and they showed me that little trick. But never use tap water. So I learned that a lot of Burleys and Virginias are used when they treat tobacco with any sort of liquor. So my butternut burley, Scotty's butternut burley, that's been in here for almost a month now, I'm about ready to take that out, spread it on a cookie sheet, throw it in the oven on a low temperature till it dries out to a fair consistency, throwing it in a jar, let it sit for another 60 days, and then try it. This highball burns this Captain Black Cherry aromatic very well. It never would, any type of like spark plug or something like that that's like freaking hard as a rock, it never would do that. Never would. You could never get it to burn like that in this highball for some reason. That's good. It's funny how your taste buds change. Because even though I love this cherry aromatic, this Captain Black, now that I've gone to some smokier stuff with some Latakia in it, and Burleys and Virginias and Orientals, Cavendish, Perique, this almost tastes to me a little perfumey. So I can understand why guys that smoke tobacco for many years and explore different blends don't like heavy aromatics. It does taste just a tiny bit perfumey to me. And that's because of it's got a super heavy cherry topping, whatever they put in there to make it smell and taste like cherry. But I do taste it just a little bit, which I never tasted that before. Well, my highball, which I bought, which is pretty much pristine, I suspect this is probably from the 1920s or 30s. I'm guessing, if I had to guess. But she came to me totally reamed out down to bare wood, so I got to re-break her back in. She's starting to warm up just a little bit. We'll set her down there. We're going to clean the palate, clear the palate. So I've got my Black Frigate. And I write that down there along with the date when I jarred it. crumble cake. Look at that. That has Latakia in it, Latakia. It's got Virginia's in it. I believe Cavendish and rum. And it is good. And it is hermetically sealed up in this beautiful mason jar, which that would keep 40, 50, 60, 100 indefinitely. I bet you if I took this blend and I put it in my safe or hid it in the top of the closet, I bet if someone found this 100 years from now, it would still be as fresh as it is today. I mean, you can put food, all right, which has bacteria and other substances, even though when you can food, I mean, some of the food can be, well, when I was a teenager, we used to can food, and a child up through my teenage years, Mom always canned food. Peaches, green beans, spaghetti sauce, all kinds of stuff. You name it, she canned it. Even beef stew. And, a lot of that stuff was good for 2-3 years. And that's food in it. Now, you're boiling it. You're bringing that temperature up to above 220 degrees in there. And then when you take those jars out, all right, you're boiling them with the jars loose, all right? So the water's not going in there, but it's enough where the steam can come out and the pressure from the heat can come out. You take those in before they cool down. You grab a pair of mitts, you tighten that baby right up, and you can sit down there in the basement where we had our canning stove and listen to the tops just go, and they'd suck right down. So now you got a good seal. But before we did that, what we had to do is we had to take a clean cloth, make sure we wiped around here, make sure that seal was perfectly clean, and then you take that hot food that you're canning, you crank that down, and you can just watch it go down. You could always tell when a jar went bad too, either because the food was discolored or so forth, or it just looked ugh. But mostly because the top was popped up. So what we'd do is we'd take a knife, if Ma said, go down and get some beef stew. Actually, green beans were more apt to have this happen. Go get a quart of green beans, go downstairs, bring it up, take a steak knife. If you didn't hear it go psss, and the air being sucked in, or you saw the top was popped back up, you knew it was bad. You had to throw it away. Some of that stuff was good for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, especially fruits. Fruits lasted a long time. So, anyways, we're coming up on almost 30 minutes. Wish that storm could have gotten a little more going. I mean, he did. I hope you guys could hear a couple of nice rumbles back there. By the way, this Captain Black cherry aromatic, or actually any other aromatic, just from what I found, breaks in a pipe really well. I think because the sugar content is real high in it. I don't know. And when sugar's burned, it converts to carbon. And that's what lines your pipe with that cake. And protects the briar. Protects pipe from overheating. Back to our spark plug. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love this spark plug. I was thinking, too, on a lot of these tins, you've got this label that goes around here, and it has the description normally of what the tobacco is. What if I would cut out this description, and that just will come right off, and then cut out the logo, that'll just come right off. Take some clear tape, take like a 10-ounce jar, all right, and put the logo on the front and tape the description of the tobacco and what's in it on the back. I don't know yet. We'll have to see when the jars come in. They're supposed to be in tomorrow. I got those little ones that I showed you in yesterday. And I'm half tempted to take all of my spark plug, all 4 tins. I've got 3 tins that are unopened. And tobacco, those are vacuum sealed tins. So there's no oxygen in there. They're vacuum sealed. So they really don't age. Oxygen will cause them to age. So if you have something in a mason jar that has a bit of oxygen in it, all right, your tobacco will age. Now, they'll still age in the tins, but at a snail's pace. I don't know, though. I don't think I want to pop all those tins. Anyways, we're over 31 minutes, going on 32 minutes. I'm Paul the Pipe Guy. Cheers from Rochester, New York. Thanks for tuning in for Two for Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And happy pipe smoking, pipe smokers. Paul the Pipe Guy, over and out.